In just 1 year together, my girlfriend's jealousy and mental health struggles have turned my life upside down. Why are you drawing another girl? And what are you hiding? Are just the start. I'm terrified to break up, but my friends see the toll it's taking on me. Should I stay or go? I feel very anxious and uneasy about sharing this, as I worry about what might happen if she discovers it or is able to attribute it to me. My girlfriend, 19 years old female, and I, 21 years old male, have been in a relationship for over a year. Our relationship has not been perfect, as I assume is true for most relationships, but lately I have been quite conflicted about whether it is still worth continuing or if I have not been doing enough. Recently, it has been extremely challenging for me, and I feel as if it has been weighing me down and affecting my mental health in ways I have never experienced before. I have done my utmost to love her, but I am unsure if there is anything more I can do. I will break this down into several sections to clarify the situation as best I can. She strongly opposes my discussing our issues with my friends, even though they have significantly impacted me. When arguments become frequent, they are quite draining, yet I feel prohibited from confiding in my friends about them. She insists it is because it is none of their business. I understand her viewpoint, and even when she claims she would prefer I talk to her about it, each time I do, I feel guilty because I know it causes her significant distress, but she does not want me to discuss it with anyone else. She has abandonment issues and experiences suicidal thoughts, along with multiple suicide attempts that she thankfully survived and recovered from during our relationship. Her most recent attempt occurred just 2 to 3 days ago, shortly after a prior attempt. Currently, she is under surveillance via cameras in her room as mandated by her psychiatric ward or hospital, and she participates in daily therapy sessions while also set to receive additional professional support. My friends have increasingly noticed how differently I have been acting and are genuinely concerned. I acknowledge that conflicts are a part of relationships, and I will attempt to describe some recent disagreements we have had. I am currently a college student enrolled in a bioscience class this semester. There are more female students than male students in this course. I had just completed an exam and was the first to exit the room. I called her to share the news and she sounded quite happy and proud. It was 10:00 a.m. and we needed to return by 11:00 a.m. for another review session for an upcoming exam next week. The next 3 classmates who left the exam room with me were all female. One of them is a lesbian whom I regard as a genuine friend, and she has a crush on another girl on campus. The other 2 girls are individuals I literally just met this semester, and they are both friendly. We all decided to grab some coffee, so I sent her a text informing her that we would just go to get some boba at a nearby cafe. I then left the Discord call we were in, where another friend was present, and she became very upset, bombarding me with messages pleading for me not to leave and to please return. She continued to message me even after I explained that my phone was already significantly low on battery. It had drained because I also stay on call with her every morning during my drive to campus and text or call her when I finish class, sending messages such as please, and where are you going? I reminded her that I was heading to the boba store and she replied with confusion about why and what I was doing. I clarified that we still had an hour before needing to return to class as she mistakenly thought I could simply go home. She questioned why I even messaged her if I did not intend to go home, and I told her I wanted to say hello and check in on her. She then said, "You still have so much time. What are you hiding?" I had to explicitly inform her that I was not concealing anything. She absolutely does not trust any girl around me. Remember, I mentioned a friend who is a lesbian. She still lacked trust even for her, claiming, "I was a lesbian too until I met you." I attempted to remind her that she is not the same as that girl and that they are completely different individuals, but she did not seem to care. On one occasion, she returned home from therapy and I asked how she was doing. She replied that she was good. The first thing she noticed was my Discord status, which read Jump Up Superstar, a reference to the theme song from Super Mario Odyssey sung by a female character named Pauline. Upon my explanation, she responded, the song sung by that one girl. To simplify, she has also gotten jealous over the fact that some of the songs I have included in my status were performed by female artists, even fictional ones. There was another incident on campus. To provide context, art students at my college enjoy drawing each other and friends as a fun way to pass the time. I participated in this activity with a friend, and she reacted furiously, asking, "Why are you drawing another girl instead of me?" I have already drawn her, my girlfriend, several times during our relationship as gifts, and this was merely a fun activity shared with a friend who also enjoys art, nothing further. She became extremely stressed and was losing her composure, to the point of repeatedly messaging me short phrases to emphasize her feelings. I recognized it was yet another fight, and my other friends at the table, yes, there were other people present, noticed my suddenly low mood and checked in on me. I wanted to be open about my feelings, knowing it would help, but I refrained out of respect for her wishes against my discussing it with other people, even my closest friend. Regarding the friend I mentioned earlier, my girlfriend alleged that I only seem to spend time with girls, which is untrue. There are simply more girls than boys in my class, but I do not primarily hang out with girls. I reminded her that the friend I drew was the only girl at that group table. She referred to the girl I drew as weird for being the sole female among a table of boys. The girl she called weird is incredibly chill and has only recently met these individuals, except for one mutual male friend at the table. At the conclusion of our disagreements, even if I did not instigate them, I still find myself being asked to apologize, leading me to feel as if the entire situation is my fault. I recognize there may be aspects I could have assisted with, and I will certainly apologize for those. But I grow weary of having to bear the responsibility of apologizing or accepting blame for conflicts I did not initiate. In fact, many of our disputes have occurred without me having done or said anything that could possibly provoke a heated exchange. Yet they still arise, and it has been incredibly stressful for me. I was once in a private Discord call with a close friend who wanted to show me something on his video game. She then inquired about my whereabouts, and I informed her I was on a call with this friend. She replied, "Why don't you both just join voice chat?" I explained that we were already connected and he had called me specifically to show me something. Upon realizing I would not be transitioning into our server's voice channel, she continued to spam my messages, which affected my mood. She also repeatedly requested that I play a game with her, but I was not in the mindset for it due to the stress from yet another recent argument. She started to cry and said she was too much for me to handle. Eventually, she accepted my decision, but I felt utterly drained at that point. When I attempt to discuss issues, as mentioned, she does not allow me to talk about our problems with friends, even my closest friend, who is always unbiased and offers solid, practical advice. I understand this since it is our relationship, but I believe that obtaining an outside perspective can be very beneficial, as I believe we tend to be biased towards our own views. She asserts that I can talk to her or vent about any topic, but when I do express my frustrations, she often interrupts me and tries to defend herself midway through, which completely derails my train of thought. All I desire is for someone to listen, but it must be her since I cannot confide in anyone else about my feelings. When I feel a particular way, it significantly reflects my emotions. When I am stressed or feeling down, I tend to express that, but she does not like it when I exhibit these feelings after a disagreement, nor does she appreciate it when I display them in front of others, even those who know me well. Just a few hours ago, she texted me, "Don't bring stuff like that into the call." That tone, just don't. Next time, don't act like that in public, implying that I should not disrupt the mood or create awkwardness. Note that we had a conflict while on a call with friends. I simply stated that I was not up for playing a certain game with her VR chat because I did not feel comfortable at that moment. Honestly, I have been fearful of being completely honest about how much this relationship has been affecting me, but I worry because I do not want her to hurt herself or, God forbid, take her own life. However, I cannot confide in her, and now I also cannot share with my friends, making me feel as though I am compelled to suppress my feelings. Deep down, I know I want to end the relationship, but at the same time, I hesitate for the sake of our friends. None of our mutual friends are aware of any of these issues occurring beneath the surface of our relationship. Summary: I feel drained from this relationship due to unfair treatment and unnecessary conflict, but I am unsure whether it is appropriate to break up or not. I do not initiate the fights and make an effort to avoid doing so, yet I am made to feel at fault. She is hostile towards any girl around me. She has attempted suicide twice in the past 2 weeks, leaving me hesitant about whether I should end the relationship or try to push through. Most of these situations have arisen within the last week. Edit: I am afraid to take space for myself, fearing that her suicidal thoughts may overwhelm her or that she might feel immense despair. Story 2. My husband thinks I refuse to be like that when it comes to money, but after 10 years together, I can't voice my concerns without feeling guilty, especially about his spending. With therapy finally in the picture, can we break this cycle or is resentment brewing? I, 37 years old female, and my husband, 40 years old male, are going through a strange period in our relationship. We have been married for 7 years and have been together for 10. We also have a 5-year-old son. We had an argument last October, and I found it mentally challenging to recover from it. Eventually, I came to my senses and apologized to my husband for being distant and cold. I communicated that I did not feel our disagreement was resolved in a way that offered me healing. He expressed that he thought I might leave him, which I admitted did cross my mind after the argument, but I never acted on that thought. This prompted him to prioritize couples therapy, something I had been suggesting for a while. He was never against the idea but simply did not consider it important. Here's some background. Our son was born at the end of 2019. He is a rainbow baby following a surprise pregnancy a year and a half earlier that ended in a miscarriage. My husband was uncertain about having children while I always wanted at least one. He eventually said he wanted a child and we actively tried, resulting in our wonderful son. I worked from home with our son for 6 months, then we moved back to our home state. I returned to my office, and he became a stay-at-home dad for 3 years, a decision we mutually agreed upon. Financial struggles prompted me to switch jobs to a work-from-home position that increased my salary. Our child attended daycare just before turning 4. My husband wanted to leave the state again, and we agreed that he would stay home for the following year to complete all outstanding house projects to sell the house. Unfortunately, no projects were completed during that year, and we had a disagreement over it. Staying in the area turned out to be the best option, but we accumulated $8,000 in debt, interest-free for 11 months, which was about to end, while getting the house painted and purchasing materials for projects that never occurred. We now needed to determine how to pay off this debt before interest began to accrue. I transferred it to one of my cards with zero interest for an additional 9 months and informed my husband that he needed to find a job. He accepted a stressful job, quit once returned, which created tension in our home, and then was let go or quit after 5 months. His paychecks were intended to significantly pay off the debt, and I managed to pay off 5,000 of it before he was let go. He is now back at work after a month of searching but has settled for a part-time job. Additionally, we both have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, and are medicated for it. He suspects that he may be on the autism spectrum but has not been officially diagnosed. Now you are updated on our situation. My challenge is that I struggle to communicate with my husband. I have significant anxiety and often overthink how he may respond when I express my feelings. You might say I am avoidant. I validate his feelings while suppressing my own. He has experienced a lot of childhood trauma, and having a child, especially a son, has resurfaced emotional issues he needs to confront and is actively working on. My husband and our son often do not get along well. I sometimes find myself protecting our son during these moments by trying to calm him down and explain what his father is trying to convey, hoping to help our son understand the situation. My husband has expressed that this behavior makes him feel alienated. I have been working on not doing that, but I struggle because I am overly concerned about potentially traumatizing our son in some way. This is another issue I am addressing. Not every situation will traumatize our child. However, my anxiety, which I am also medicated for, often interferes. As a result, I find it hard to express my feelings regarding how my husband interacts with our son. Additionally, I struggle with the fact that my husband tends to hyperfocus on hobbies. Last year, he became absorbed in building a personal computer, for which I used my work bonus to assist him in creating his gaming setup. This year, his focus has shifted to music equipment. I have always managed our finances and have never hidden or denied information about them from my husband. He has a different relationship with money. He dislikes feeling stressed about it and often states, "Why work hard and hoard your money and not spend it?" I have ensured we have over 10,000 in savings, a high-yield savings account for our son, and a house savings account for unexpected expenses. He recognizes this but believes we are just fine. He insists that if necessary, we could pay off our debt using our savings. With this new hobby, he purchased a new bass amplifier and had his bass guitar refurbished. His birthday is approaching, and I informed him that he could buy himself some items if he wished. Before his focus shifted to music, he expressed a desire to purchase a new monitor for his computer, which I agreed to as long as it was under 400, after he mentioned that 200 was insufficient. Now he spends all day on Reverb when he is not working, looking at and purchasing a pedal here and a pedal there. He wants to acquire a guitar for our son, who has no interest in it. This is becoming stressful for me. When he wants to buy things for his hobbies, I feel like I have to be the nagging wife, my words, not his questioning whether he truly needs these items right now, suggesting that he could use what he already has and reminding him that we need to pay off this debt, especially since this time of year can be financially challenging with birthdays. He mentioned that he feels I am infantilizing him and questioning all his purchases. He stated that he cannot buy anything without experiencing guilt or feeling compelled to provide me with an explanation for why he needs it. This conversation arose after I mentioned wanting to purchase a swing for our backyard, to which he replied, "Oh, I have already purchased that." I admit I became annoyed because I needed to transfer money from our savings for this purchase, as I keep our checking account fairly tight, particularly close to payday. I cannot tell you how often I agree when he expresses a desire for something, yet I wonder if I am unaware of my tone or how often I genuinely agree. I have wanted to discuss money and other matters with him, but I find it challenging to articulate my thoughts in a way that is not judgmental or frustrated. How can I stop being so concerned about his potential reaction and be honest? It is unfair to me and it certainly is not fair to him. I know that if I do not address these issues, they will breed resentment. I want to prevent that. He told me last night that he understands my focus on saving and related topics, but stated that he, and I quote, refuses to be like that. I explained the current time of year and the importance of not relying on our savings to pay off debts since we have been spending our money on hobbies. He responded that if I had started the conversation with that context, he might have been more understanding, but he feels I often express a lack of concern. I am eager to become a better communicator. How have others navigated this? I am in individual therapy as well and am working on these issues with my therapist, but I find myself reverting to old patterns and this is not helpful. In summary, I struggle to communicate my needs and feelings with my husband, and I fear it may jeopardize our relationship. What steps can I take to improve?